We generated around 560 plus million impressions organically. Those
creating property cards for the first time for people owning houses in the rural areas.
We have a patent on a bits technology, which.
But we were really guided by what we wanted it to be.
In terms of the content consumption pattern has changed.
Very competitive, very crowded.
The objective is basically to democratize cancer care.
I see a very bright future for retail industry.
Technology now allows us to scale up.
We also want to help patients become more compliant.
If I look at the custom solutions market, it's almost about $1,500 billion.
Your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change here.
We had adopted digitalization much earlier.
Within a very short span of time, we are the number one operator in the whole of South India.
If you are reaching out to a lakh people today, you would be reaching out to an entire globe tomorrow.
We got those two brands and then immediately got into a few of the LFRs, and there was no looking back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 49th episode of Ascent Talks. My name is Ajit Panikar, and I've been an Ascent member for over 10 years, and I lead Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And as usual, my co-host is Aleem. How are you doing, buddy?
Fantastic, Ajit. Good morning, everyone. My name is Aleem Merchant. I run an advertising and marketing company called Synapse. And Ajit, why don't you go ahead and tell us that Ascent is a cohort, something started by us, which you've been saying for 49 episodes.
You can wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning now, my deep sleep, and I'll just go ahead and say it, Ascent is a non-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs grow their business. It was founded by Harsh Mariwala, Chairman, Marico Limited, in 2012. And has helped over 850 entrepreneurs. Ascent's key features is its trust groups, where entrepreneurs can share experiences and ideas. Ascent Talks is hosted weekly to showcase the journeys of its members. So let's bring in our guest today, Ali.
Absolutely. Welcoming Rahul Agarwal, CEO of Ideal Insurance Brokers. Ideal is India's largest and most preferred SME insurance management company. His organization's mission is to create awareness about the benefits of insurance and simplify the process, offering clients financial security through personalized and customized coverage and a seamless claim settlement. They are aggregating SME insurance agents by bringing them on one platform, one-to-one-policy.com. With a team size of 300 plus people spread across 50 cities, Ideal is aimed towards a gross premium collection of 500 crores this year. They also have a very diverse clients, including renowned names like Hyatt Hotels, Westin, Trident, Wow Mom, Zoomcar, Century Ply, Green Ply, Anita Dongre, Dalmia Bharat Cement, Keventers, Ambuja Cement, Rupa, Inmobi, Birla Sugar, or bhi hai, RPG Group, and many more distinguished organizations. In fact, more than 50 Ascent members are their clients across India. So welcome, Rahul, to the show.
Thank you so much, Aleem. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Rahul, tell us a little about your entrepreneurial journey. Tell us a little about Ideal Insurance in brief, and then we can start the show. Yeah.
So my actual entrepreneurial journey started when I was in college. I was in third year and I joined Max New York Life as an insurance agent. It was for a very brief period of time, but I wanted some work X. And during college, nobody would give a job. So I landed up becoming an insurance agent, which was totally by chance. Fortunately, I did extremely well. In fact, I became the youngest MDRT for Max New York Life, and they even sent me to America to represent Max New York Life in the New York Life's annual program. So that was my first tryst with insurance. And in US, I actually this was back in 2001, and in US, I actually got to understand how big the insurance industry is worldwide. So,
Rahul, for our viewers, you must tell us what MDRT is, so everyone understands how big that is.
Yes. So MDRT is basically the full form is $1 Million Round Table. So in insurance, if you achieve a certain target, you become a part of this prestigious international club. right? So there's a target, so target which keeps on increasing every year. Back in 2001, it was around 15 lakh rupees of life insurance premium. Today, I guess it is about 40-50 lakhs. So anyone who does that amount of premium automatically becomes a member of MDRT. So it's a very prestigious thing in the insurance industry to be a part of this club. So yeah, going back, so I got to understand how big the industry could be. So I came back, I did my completed my studies. I did my MBA from SPJN, and after SPJN, I immediately started Ideal Insurance. I was very clear I wanted to go on my own. I didn't want to take up a job, and insurance was the obvious choice. I already had the exposure, and I could see the humongous potential. Even today, people say that everyone knows the kind of potential which is there in the insurance industry. So imagine this 18 years back, right? So yeah, this is how my professional journey started. So a lot of people ask me why insurance. In fact, when I did my MBA from SPJN, a lot of my father's friend would say कि बेटा क्या हुआ आपको जॉब नहीं मिला कहीं जो आप इंश्योरेंस बेच रहे हो. So because people find it very difficult to understand that why SPGN से MBA करके insurance बेच रहा है, like really, because even that time you would get a 18-20 lakh rupees job very easily. Insurance selling is not considered a very great profession, especially among the Marwadis. It's like ruining the family name. But of course, I mean, I don't blame them. They could not understand how big the industry is and how organized this business could be. But nonetheless, I could see where India is heading in insurance, and so there it was. I started completely bootstrapped in 2005.
Okay.
In fact,
Rahul,
recently, today we are completing 18 years of Ideal.
Oh, congratulations!
Wow, that's nice. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so
but
much.
Rahul, we know that your dad wasn't very happy with you choosing this as a career, and you were an insurance agent. From an insurance agent, you are now one of the largest broking companies. That's a fascinating journey. You should just tell us some insights into this. From the family, not. I mean, they never thought that this was big. They never understood what you were doing. But from there to building a large, how did this whole thing happen? From an agent to a large broking company, and I know you're multi-locational, spread across the country.
I think you should read my book, Ajit. You'll get my entire story. The story starts from.
That's good. Actually, probably we should just tell the viewers about this book. So most of you guys who don't know, he's written a very nice book called as The Ideal Entrepreneur. It's an idiot's guide to building a 300 crore company. Well, it's a fantastic book available on Amazon.
Thank you so much for highlighting this. Thank you so much for highlighting this. But I'll come to the motivation behind this book. But just to so to answer your question, to share my journey, of course, when I joined as an agent in my third year of college, that was purely for gaining experience. I mean, those guys were paying me 8,000 rupees for a 15-day sales training, right? An American company paying 8,000 rupees in 2000 was a big deal. I got my first mobile from that money. So honestly, that time it was just for the sake of it. But yeah, that was my exposure to the insurance industry, and from there I got to know. So I'm one of the very few people who have chosen insurance as a career. Okay, but for most, insurance is still when people don't get anywhere, they land up into insurance. In fact, even today, people still, we find it so difficult to find good skilled people in insurance. It is still not a preferred choice of industry, but I'm sure it will be. But anyway, so to come back, so when I was doing my MBA, I was very clear I didn't want to take up a job, and I didn't want to join my family business. My father was into stockbroking and a little bit into real estate investment, real estate development. But I wanted to be in insurance, right? And I wanted to start my own company, and I'm part of that Dhirubhai Ambani generation. When we were growing up, so badi company banani hai, so we all were following him. So पापा के साथ काम करके तो वो नहीं हो सकता है, अपना खुद का करना है. So completely bootstrapped, I decided to join. Of course, my father was initially not supporting. He thought the best about me, right? I mean, of course, I don't blame him, right? He really wanted the best for me. But so no one could understand what one can make. So when I used to say that we'll make this company a 500 crore company, 1,000 crore company, people would used to laugh, right? Even today, when sometimes people say how many people are you're working with, so we say we have 350 people, and say what do they do, right? So people still are good. Insurance मतलब वो agent है, वो आएगा आपके पास बैग लेके और आपको पॉलिसी समझाएगा and all that. But so I started. It was very challenging in the initial time, because now when I launched this company, I was just 23. Okay, I except for my agency experience of 6 months, I never had any kind of work experience or any formal exposure to building an organization, let alone running it. So I was first. I didn't have any money. Okay, I didn't want to take any money from my family. I didn't have any knowledge. Right, I didn't have any professional experience. Okay, so I didn't even have the knowledge about the insurance industry, because I was very exposed to one company, one product. But insurance is a humongous business, and I was a life insurance agent. The bigger business for us was general insurance. But nonetheless, I was very focused. I was very motivated that I had to do it. So initially, it was very small, very slow, one thing at a time. Right? What I used to do most of the work, like most entrepreneurs do. I was the marketing guy, I was the accounts guy, I was the finance guy. I would go for each and every selling a small policy. I would go from people to people. In fact, my first hiree was a 2000 rupees old 2000 rupees part-time guy who was still in college, and he used to handle the accounts for me. So now what I did always, but yeah, one thing I always did for growing my company was I always kept on reinvesting my profits, whatever I earned. Now, of course, there's not too much of cost involved, honestly, in the beginning. So whatever revenue commissions I would generate, I would keep more people. That was the in an insurance firm, that's your biggest investment. So I kept on adding people, good people, right, with the reinvesting of money, and that's how we have grown over the period. From there to 350 people today, and we are almost bootstrapped. We are looking at raising some decent amount of money, but that's how we have grown. Now, apart from that, so that's one part of the people challenge. Second was getting people on board. Now, even if I'm pay, who would want to join a 23, 24 year old guy, without any background to show or any strong credentials to show? So good people would not join you, right? So got some very good people in the after 3-4 years by showing them the vision on what Ideal could become, right? Also gave ESOPs to people. That was one good thing which I think I did. I shared my company with some wonderful people, because if you don't share, many people make a mistake here. They cannot share their organization. But if you have to grow big, you have to get wonderful people, and wonderful people will only come if they feel that ownership in the company. Otherwise, you will only get employees, which are important, but then you also need people who can take ownership, and that can only happen if you share your organization equity with them. So that's how I got some wonderful people in the initial.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Rahul, your story is just perfect for anybody, any of those youngsters who's actually looking at getting into entrepreneurship. It's like a one-man show. And how many years for you to build this 350 people employee broking
So
company?
18 years now, Ajit. In fact, now I'll come to why I wrote the book. Okay. Now, so I did all the mistakes that an entrepreneur can possibly do, and even more. I would have invented some mistakes as well. Okay. In fact, I got defrauded 4 times. Okay, in my own company. But yeah, every time I got defrauded, I learned and I moved ahead. I became more.
It's an expensive way to learn, dude, for an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so exactly, so I wanted to share my journey, my learnings, my mistakes, so that people don't make the same mistakes today. Now, initially, I didn't have any mentorship and guidance, which was, I think, my biggest problem, right? And that's why we were very slow initially. Had I got some people to mentor me or guide me, right, I would have probably made much lesser mistakes, and we would have grown much faster than how we have. And towards the later part of my journey, after 7-8 years, then uh, when we started growing, I got some people, wonderful people, who guided me, who act as mentors. Okay, and then our pace of growth increased very much from there. In fact, I'll just share some numbers. So it took us 13 years to do our first touch 100 crores of premium. It took us the next 3 years to touch our second 100 crore, and it took us just 1 year for the third 100 crore. And in fact, this year we are adding 200 crores of premium. Now, so maybe this could have happened 5 years, 10 years before, had I got some more knowledge which I have today. And my writing, and when I see the entrepreneurs today, youngsters, be it youngsters or be it small and medium enterprises, right? I know wonderful people in Ascent, in BNI, and I know so many wonderful people who are very good at what they do, but they don't know how to scale up businesses, right? So I want to share my journey so that they can learn from my journey and don't make the same mistakes which I did.
Yes.
Amazing.
So that was my motivation, and also I wanted to give a story which is relatable. When we talk about everyone talks about, you look for a book, you'll find Amazon, people talking about Amazon or Reliance or Google. While that may be very fascinating, but you don't learn anything from that, right? So my idea was that people
No,
find a
no, I
relatable.
think, I think, yeah, we were talking to another Ascent member, and he said a very interesting thing. He said, "Listen, there are so many podcasts, there are so many channels, everything is there. I can see about Elon Musk, I can read about Bill Gates, but there are no MSME stories because Elon Musk and all these people, you like to listen to them, but beyond a point, you can't relate to them, because that's not who you are. But another MSME story coming out of Ascent Talks is something that I kind of relate to, and it kind of validates what they're saying."
And talking about Ascent Talks, Rahul, there was a speaker once who had come, Jatin Thakkar, and he spoke about his factory getting burnt. And I remember him
Yeah.
saying, that he had this thing, when he was buying insurance, he said, I want to buy the best insurance possible. And because of that, when his factory burned down, he actually managed to get a sizable amount from the insurance. Which brings me to my next question: is that how big is this insurance market in India versus the rest of the world and the rest of the economies?
Is Rahul there with us, or he is frozen today?
Yeah. But you remember
Yeah,
that
so
that talk Ajit with Jatin shared
yeah,
about that insurance thing? I mean, I know you know Jatin very well, and it was a very
yeah.
interesting discussion about insurance that time.
No, and Jatin, and I have spoken to him at arm's length about this, and
Yeah,
he always keeps saying, we always look for sponsor सबसे सस्ता premium. We
correct.
don't tend to look at, what is the value proposition you get around it. And he was saying that, I would just go through all the details, and I just picked up the right one, and he said it was such a life saving for me, and you'll be surprised actually. The day this factory fire happened, the two of us were together in Pune, and we're riding
Oh,
back from Pune together. And next day morning, I see this message on our group saying that such and such thing has happened. And I still remember having such a long conversation with him, and he was always clear. He says, "I never looked for the cheapest one. I
cheapest.
always look for what is the right thing for me. What is it that I need to cover?"
Yeah,
And most of the time, everyone is trying to make a sale. They're not educating you as to what should
yeah.
be your insurance, what you should be going through. Those are the things that's not available, and that actually, from an entrepreneur's perspective, that's always a challenge when you're not educated, because it's not our field, right? We don't understand this to a very great extent.
True.
And I guess that's so it's always having somebody who can educate you, which is what's relevant in your industry, in your trade. That's extremely important and makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Great, Rahul.
I'm so
Actually, good
sorry.
to have you back. No,
Yeah.
but good to have you back. And we were just talking about some of the insurance learnings that we have. Yeah, over to you, Ali. You're asking him something.
So Rahul, my question to you is: how big is this market in India versus the world, and what kind of economies do you compare it with? Rahul, can you
Rahul,
hear
we can
us?
hear you. We can hear you. He's on a bad network. So
Mm.
these technologies are always a challenge. It always puts you on the edge. Yeah.
Talking about insurance, these
I've
today, because
joined
of
from
this
my
cover
phone. I'm
foxes
so
of the world
sorry.
and all that, it's really become a lot of awareness. Yes, Rahul.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think there's
Yeah, Rahul.
some problem in. I'm in a
No,
hotel
no
in
problem.
Lucknow,
Glad to
and
have you
I'm
back.
sorry.
Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
No,
So you're
absolutely
asking
fine.
about the insurance size, right? The
Yes,
size of
yes,
the market and everything.
yes.
Okay. So just to give you a very brief idea on how we fare compared to the other countries. For example, so in India, this year we should be about a $220 billion insurance industry, which is
Wow.
roughly about a 2 lakh crore. But now the US industry, that is a 1.7 trillion industry, right? So which is almost 8 to 9 of times of our size, whereas our population is thrice that of US
Yeah.
economy. I can give you,
Hmm.
so okay, let me ask you a quick riddle question. In India there are about 70 insurance companies, okay? So how many
70.
how many companies are there in US?
I wonder how many.
I
Is
don't
there
know.
70?
I'm not even sure, but it's
210?
probably you can.
Yeah, so there are about 6,000 insurance companies.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's
So,
that's
so,
a
so
good
that in
metric, man.
itself will tell you, the penetration in the market. In fact, IRDA is working very hard to increase penetration. I think by next year, India will also have more than 100 insurance companies. Okay,
Wow.
so the government is really working very hard to increase penetration. But yeah, there's a humonger. We are just at the tip of the iceberg. I can throw so many statistics. Let's say home insurance. I mean, not even 1% penetration in home insurance, and we all know that how important it is to take a home insurance, right? Even life insurance, the penetration is higher, but a lot of under insurance, right? The penetration might be 30%, but 99% people are underinsured. They don't have as much insurance as they should take. So humongous need, and especially for a country like India. Okay, it's a very important need because we are a middle class country. Okay, and almost 80 crore population middle class. We don't have much savings to fall back upon. So especially for us, insurance is a very, very important product.
Agreed.
Amazing. Tell me, Rahul, you're a people-driven business. You, like Avi says, they don't have any capital investment, knowledge-based, people-driven business. How did you actually go about opening up so many offices or having people, 350 people? How do you retain these talents? Uh, how does that happen? Because you're actually just reselling and educating people. How do you actually retain these people? Tell us this little secret of yours there, because we all struggle with that.
Great question. I mean, it will be very preposterous of me to say if I'm doing a good job. But yeah, that's the biggest challenge anyone faces, and we are also facing. Yes, we might have done better than others, but still, that's a very humongous challenge. But yes, there's some things that we have done better than others on why we have been able to scale up a business which is so customized and which is so people driven. And here, so again, I have I'll keep on referencing to my book because I've shared a lot of such things. Okay, here I have actually shared a lot about my MBA experience, that how MBA has helped me in all this. For example, in MBA, we learned about organization behavior. Now, I came from a typical Marwadi family, where the babu is the boss, and all the employees are your bucks and everything. But so we didn't know about organization behavior, how to motivate people, how to train them. But I learned. So one great thing that I always did, that I have applied my learnings in life. Whatever I've learned, from books or listen to people, I apply them. So right from day one, I tried to empower people. I invested a lot of time in training. Okay, and then one things kept on happening. For example, I mentioned about SOPs, right? I learned about SOPs fairly, I think, around 2010 11. I understood what is. So SOP is for the audience, if anyone don't know what is SOP, is standard operating procedure, basically how you do things, right? So we started putting SOPs in the organization, which was actually one of the key reasons how we were able to scale up. Okay, because once we have SOP, then it is very easier to train people. Just tell them what you have to do. You hand them over the SOP document, and they do whatever they do. Even today, the kind of another very wonderful thing that we do at Ideal, we have one of the best HR practices in the country. I can guarantee you that. The kind of HR practices we have, even the best MNCs might not be having. Okay, and we invest a lot of time. The kind of HR team we have. I personally invest a lot of time in my HR development, right? The kind of engagement programs we have, we spend a lot of time in thinking out people, how to give them the growth, right? How to retain them. Okay, so yeah, we do tons of things. It's not one thing. You have to focus on building a culture. Right now, we are doing something. We are implementing something called a balance scorecard. Okay, I'm sure you would be knowing, but I didn't know balance scorecard till 2 months back, to be very honest. Right, so I don't want to get into balance scorecard because it will become very technical. But that's also one we already seeing the difference in the last 2-3 months. The way the team is aligned behind and how motivated they are. So we have done a lot of such things. As I kept on learning, we kept on evolving, and yeah. And one of course, I already mentioned about SOPs. So ESOPs, sorry, employee stock options. So we are very liberal with ESOPs, especially to all the second line of management. We are giving them ESOPs liberally, because ESOPs, I feel, work great way in organizations like us, because we cannot pay very huge salaries, right? We cannot match what other larger organizations, MNCs, can pay. So you can retain them by ESOPs. Okay, you don't have to pay cash, and it actually doesn't get out of your pocket, because you're only giving them a part of your growth, in which they are also instrumental. So they actually deserve being a part of the organization that way.
Fabulous. But tell me, Rahul, it's such a competitive business, and there are so many solo insurance agents all over the country, right? I mean, everybody knows one uncle. So how are you different?
Okay, again, wonderful question. Great, thank you. So of course, insurance is worldwide the most competitive perfectly competitive market and perfectly competitive industry. So we had spent a lot of time in trying to create ourselves a niche. So one thing I'm lucky about is that my industry is humongous. Okay, it's one of the largest industries in India. So enough, even after so many agents, right, there's enough scope for everyone. But again, I'm sure all of us, every Ascent member would have learned that we need to differentiate ourselves, whichever business you are in. In fact, forget insurance. India is such an enterprising country. आप कुछ भी बनाओ, there'll be 100 people tomorrow doing the same thing, okay, and maybe better than you, right? So we have spent a lot of time in trying to create a niche for ourselves, and now there are certain areas where we have created a niche. For example, SME insurance, right? I call myself a SME broker. Now, if you look at the SME market, SMEs have very different kind of diverse need. They're very fragmented across India, right? And they have multiple product requirements. Now, agents, first of all, let me compare myself with agents. Now, agents don't have the knowledge or bandwidth to suggest an SME about all the different kind of products. An agent might be good in one or product or two product, three product, but not every product, right? So from us, they get all kind of solutions at one place, right? Again, now when I compared myself to the other brokers, there are hardly any brokers who have the geographical presence like us, and SMEs are very, very fragmented. Okay, so we focused on SME, and now we have created a niche for ourselves. Now, even further going down to SMEs, now we are trying to become the largest player in hospitality insurance, right? Hospitality is again a very big industry and no focus player. So we are looking at niches for ourselves, and which I also recommend to anyone. You have to find your niche and become the largest player in that. But unfortunately, everyone tries to do everything. A lot of people tell me, why don't you sell mutual fund? Why didn't you get into share broking? You can earn extra money, but you have to be focused in what you're doing and scale up, keep on getting better. And see, now what happens now, since we have been in SME for such a long time, we have created a strong brand, and now people are getting attracted to us. Rather than, you have no idea how many people approach us for insurance. It's mind boggling. Whereas insurance is considered to be a very push industry, we have created a lot of pull, right? Because if you keep on doing work and people recognize you for what you're doing, sooner or later people will start approaching you.
Yeah, quick on this, Rahul. Now we just have about like a 4-5 minutes to go before we close. I want you to talk about that book, The Ideal Entrepreneur. Give us about like in a minute or two as to why the
Okay.
what is the gist of that little book. It's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting capline you got. So tell us quickly around that.
So, as I was mentioning earlier, my that was my way of giving back to the society, because I, in my later part of my career, I got some wonderful mentors who guided me, because of which my growth became faster. So I wanted to share my journey so that today's entrepreneurs, today business owners, they also learn and their growth becomes faster, and they find a relatable journey. Now, I've mentioned an idiot's guide to building a 300 crore company. Idiot for two reasons. One, because when I started my Ideal Insurance, my father would invite me to his chamber in front of his friends. He would say, "ये देखो, ये मेरा बेटा है और ये गधा है. ये MBA करके insurance बेच रहा है." Right? So in his fond memory, unfortunately, I lost that wonderful person. And second was that I want to tell people that any idiot can make a 300 crore company. Right? If you know the right ingredients, with the right hard work, persistence, okay, anyone can make a 300 crore company. That was my idea of telling. Okay, and I've shared some wonderful concepts, some very interesting things. For example, PR and marketing, right? People think that, or creating a brand, people think that you have to spend a lot of money for doing that, or only big companies can do that. Absolutely not, right? Whatever level you are, you can do amazing PR, marketing, and branding without spending a single dime, right? You just need to know how to do it, right? So a lot of such things, importance of having a board of directors, importance of mentors, team management, how I've built up the team. People say I'm very good at getting people on board. In fact, when I find someone, I just talk that person till the time he doesn't join my company. Okay.
Oh
So,
my God.
so you have to keep your eyes open for good people all the. I mean, and people,
मैं
and get
तुझे
them
ऑफर
on
दे
board.
रहा हूँ अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर तो अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर दे रहा हूँ ऑफर लेटर दे रहा हूँ तो जब तक साइन नहीं करेगा तो घर नहीं जा रहा है आज वेरी क्लियर
But talking
So-
about ideal entrepreneurs, Rahul, tell us about your trust group, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs. So, what's your Ascent Trust journey?
Oh. I wish I could say that we have the best trust group, but my trust group have changed my life in so many ways. You can when I talk about my trust group, I really feel great. I, I think I was lucky to have such kind of a trust group. Okay, it's been just 2 years. Okay, we were a COVID, and mind you, we were a COVID trust group. We started our
Oh,
meetings online. Okay, but we have some fantastic people from diverse background, and the kind of learnings that I've had from them. Okay, it's phenomenal. And even today, and but yes, one thing I would definitely want to tell others. I think one reason why our trust group has really done well is we are very disciplined and particular about some things, be it attendance, be it having sessions. We follow everything which have been told to us by the team, right? So let's say when we start at 5 o'clock, and there's a mad rush, and you will see people rushing in at 5152, and even 1 minute late you have to pay a
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so I mean, I'm really blessed to have a trust group, and thank you. I'm sure my friends would be listening to this, so thank you from the bottom of my heart for making me a better professional and a better human being.
interesting.
Awesome, Rahul. But also, Rahul, we're just down to our 30 minutes. But I'll tell you one thing: from a insurance agent to building a 350 broking company, which is insurance broking company across the country, it's a fabulous journey. I'm sure that book is worth the buy. It's available on Amazon. I've got my copy. So you should get there and buy that book. It'll be fantastic to see, especially for budding entrepreneurs who are really wanting to get into entrepreneurship. And this will be a fantastic story. So Rahul, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for being. Your energy shows, man. 30 minutes just flew. You're like, it just shows completely. So thank you very much, Rahul. It's been a pleasure to have you with
Thank
us.
you
Thank
so
you
much
very
for
much.
having me on this show. It was really amazing, and I
Thank
would
you,
love
Rahul.
to
You
meet
got
both
me
of you in
curious.
person very soon.
Very
Thank
soon.
you, Rahul, and
Very
you
soon.
got me curious. We can ensure Ascent talks.
Anyway, great to have you with us,
Great.
buddy. All the best.
Yes, thank you. Good day. Bye.
Yes, sir. Good night. Oh man, that was too good. Yeah, it was. It is amazing.
Rapid
I'm
pace.
quite fascinated by that whole thing. That I started off as a insurance selling agent,
Yes,
and such a complex business, taking it to a 350 employees. But yeah,
that's India
that's what
view,
Ascent is all about. That's what
and that's
Ascent is all
India
about.
view.
Yes.
That's India, the future of India, where it's going, and I think everybody's so positive about our growth.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you get such interesting people only in Ascent that I can tell you very
Yes,
clearly. You meet such fabulous stories. And if you think you want to be part of the Ascent cohort, get to that ascentfoundation.in, make an application, and the Ascent team is going to get in touch with you. And if you're truly growth ready, like how Ali said, to be part of the growth in the India growth story, we'll be happy to have you with us as an Ascent member. So get on there and make an application. So thank you very much. We're down with our 49th episode, and we'll be
Wow.
back with a 50 next Friday at 11 a.m. Enjoy the weekend. Have a good time. See you guys. Bye bye.